Hello, plant lovers. Welcome back to Flower
Bloom, your go-to
channel for everything green, blooming, and occasionally, a bit prickly. Today, we're diving into the fabulous world of orchids. Yes, those elegant, delicate, sometimes diva-like plants that can make any room look like a scene from a botanical garden or a high-end spa. First things first, picking the right orchid is like dating. You don't just pick the first one that smiles at you. You need to find your perfect match. Phalaenopsis moth orchid. This beauty is the equivalent of the good-on-paper partner. They're easy to care for, and they bloom for months, making them perfect for beginners. Plus, they come in various colors like a mood ring, but for your house. Cattleya corsage orchid. These are the drama queens of the orchid world, always ready to steal the spotlight with their large, fragrant blooms. If you're ready for a commitment and can handle a bit of flair, these are your go-to. Dendrobium, the strong and silent type. These orchids are robust and can adapt to different environments. They're like the dependable friend who's always there for you through thick and thin, rain or shine. Vanda. If you're feeling adventurous and ready for a challenge, Vandas are your match. They require a lot of light and humidity, but reward you with stunning blooms. Think of them as the exotic partner who's worth the extra effort. Alright? You've got your orchid. Now what? It's time to talk roots and repotting, the less glamorous but crucial part of orchid care. Orchid roots are like that friend who shows up to your party, not for the people, but for the food. They're not interested in soil, they want air and moisture. That's why you'll often see them growing out of the pot, looking like they're trying to make a run for it. Don't worry, they're not plotting an escape, they're just being themselves. Repotting an orchid is like giving it a new lease on life. Here's how you do it without causing a botanical crisis. Timing is everything. Repot every 1 to 2 years, ideally after the blooming season. Orchids are like us after a big meal. They need time to digest before any major changes. Choose the right pot. Orchids prefer transparent pots with drainage holes. They like to see what's going on, who doesn't? And they hate wet feet. Use a mix of bark, perlite, and sphagnum moss. Think of it as a gourmet salad for your orchid. Crunchy, light, and full of nutrients. Be gentle. Remove the old medium, and trim any dead roots. This isn't the time for a makeover, just a light trim to keep things tidy. Place the orchid in its new pot, add the medium, and give it a good drink. But remember, orchids don't like to be waterlogged. They're more of a sip and savor kind of plant. Watering orchids can be tricky. They're like Goldilocks, not too much, not too little, but just right. Overwatering is the #1 killer of orchids, so put down the watering can and step away slowly. How to water. In general, a good soak
once a week should do.
Stick to a schedule like you would with your favorite TV show. Orchids love humidity, so if you live in a dry area, consider a humidity tray or a room humidifier. Or place them in your bathroom where they can enjoy your steamy showers without judging your singing. Feeding. Orchids aren't heavy feeders, but they do appreciate a little TLC now and then. Use a balanced orchid fertilizer once a month. Remember the mantra, weekly dilute fertilizer to half strength to avoid overfeeding. Orchids are like your work-from-home colleague who insists on natural light for all those Zoom meetings. They need plenty of it, but not direct sunlight. Here's the breakdown: bright indirect light. Think of it as the perfect selfie lighting, bright enough to make you look good, but not so bright that you're squinting. Temperature. Daytime, 65-75 F 18-20 for C. Nighttime,
55-65 F
13-18 C.
Orchids like a temperature drop at night, similar to how we enjoy a cool breeze after a hot day. It helps them bloom better, kind of like how a good night's sleep helps us function without coffee. Even with the best care, orchids can be temperamental. Here's how to handle some common issues without losing your mind. Yellow leaves. This can be due to overwatering, too much sunlight, or natural aging. It's like when you wake up with a bad hair day, figure out the cause and adjust accordingly. If your orchid isn't blooming, it might need more light, a temperature drop at night, or a bit of orchid fertilizer. Or maybe it's just taking a personal day. Be patient. Orchids can attract pests like aphids and mealybugs. Think of these as uninvited guests at your party. Use insecticidal soap or neem oil to get rid of them. Now that you've mastered the basics of orchid care, it's time to sit back and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Orchids are like the divas of the plant world. They require attention, but when they bloom, it's all worth it. Display tips. Place your orchid where you can admire it daily. They thrive on admiration, don't we all? A windowsill or a well-lit corner is perfect. Show off. Don't be shy, show off your blooming beauty on social media. Use hashtags like #OrchidLove and #PlantParent to join the community of fellow orchid enthusiasts. Caring for orchids can be a rewarding and therapeutic hobby. With a bit of patience and the right care, you'll find yourself becoming an orchid whisperer in no time. Remember, each orchid has its personality, so get to know your plant, listen to its needs, and enjoy the journey. If you found this guide helpful and hopefully a bit entertaining, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to Vitality Flower Bloom, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on our latest videos. Happy planting, and may your orchids bloom as beautifully as your enthusiasm for them.